Hello, and welcome to the English Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm excited to have you with us today. This is the podcast where we dive into practical English vocabulary and phrases that you can use in everyday situations. Whether you're a beginner or looking to brush up on your skills, we've got you covered. Today's episode is all about simple shopping vocabulary. We'll be covering essential terms and phrases that you need to know when you're out shopping, whether it's for groceries, clothes, or even online shopping. By the end of this episode, you'll feel more confident and prepared for your next shopping trip. But I'm not doing this alone. With me today is our wonderful co-host, Maria. Maria, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little about your role?
Hi everyone, I'm Maria and I'm thrilled to be here with Alex on the English Hustle podcast. My background is in language education and I've spent several years helping people improve their English skills, especially in practical everyday contexts. Shopping is such a common activity, so I'm excited to dive into this topic and help you all feel more comfortable and confident with the vocabulary you'll need.
Thanks, Maria. Let's get started. Whether you're shopping in a store or online, having the right vocabulary can make a big difference. So, let's jump into our first segment and start exploring some essential shopping terms.
Segment 1. Vocabulary Introduction.
Welcome back. In this segment, Maria and I will discuss some key shopping-related vocabulary. We'll define each term and give you a simple sentence or scenario to help you understand how it's used. Let's start with the basics. Maria, can you explain what a store is?
Of course, Alex. A store is a place where goods are sold to the public. For example, I went to the grocery store to buy some vegetables.
Great. Next up is aisle. Maria, what does aisle mean?
Aisle refers to the long, narrow space between rows of shelves in a store. For example, you can find the cereal in aisle 5.
Perfect. Now, let's talk about cashier.
A cashier is the person who handles payments and transactions at a store. For example, the cashier gave me my change and a receipt.
Speaking of receipt, what exactly is that?
A receipt is a document that shows proof of purchase, listing the items bought and the total amount paid. For example, make sure you keep your receipt in case you need to return something.
Excellent. Now, let's move on to discount.
A discount is a reduction in the price of an item. For example, the store is offering a 20% discount on all clothing this weekend.
And what about sale?
A sale is a special event where items are sold at reduced prices. For example, I bought these shoes during the summer sale.
Great. Let's talk about checkout.
Checkout is the area of a store where you pay for your items. For example, please proceed to the checkout counter with your purchases.
Next is price.
Price is the amount of money required to purchase something. For example, the price of this book is $15.
All right, let's define cart.
A cart is a wheeled vehicle provided by stores to help customers carry their selected items. For example, I filled my cart with groceries for the week.
And finally, basket.
A basket is a container used to carry items while shopping, usually smaller than a cart. For example, I used a basket to carry a few items I needed from the store.
Thanks, Maria. These are all essential terms that can make your shopping experience much smoother. Remember, practicing these words and using them in sentences will help reinforce your learning.
Absolutely. Alex. And if you're out shopping, try to use these terms in real situations. It's a great way to build your confidence and vocabulary.
All right. That wraps up our vocabulary introduction. Stay tuned for our next segment, where we'll put these words into action with some role-playing scenarios.
Segment 2. Role-playing scenarios.
Welcome back to the English Hustle podcast. In this segment, Maria and I will role-play different shopping scenarios to help you understand how to use the vocabulary we've discussed. Let's start with scenario 1, shopping for groceries. I'll be the shopper, and Maria will be the store employee.
Scenario 1. Shopping for groceries.
Excuse me? Can you help me find the cereal?
Sure, the cereal is in aisle 5. Just go straight and take a right.
Thank you. Also, where can I find a shopping cart?
You can find the carts at the entrance of the store. If you only need a few items, you can use a basket instead.
Great. I'll get a cart. And can you tell me where the checkout counter is?
The checkout counters are located at the front of the store, near the entrance.
Thanks. Do you offer any discounts today?
Yes, we have a 10% discount on all dairy products. Make sure to check your receipt for the discount at the checkout.
Perfect. I'll head to aisle 5 now. Thanks for your help.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
All right, that was scenario 1. Now let's move on to scenario 2, shopping for clothes. This time, Maria will be the shopper and I'll be the store employee.
Scenario 2. Shopping for clothes.
Hi, can you help me find a dress in my size?
Of course. What size are you looking for?
I'm looking for a size medium.
Great. We have medium dresses in this section. Feel free to browse through these racks. The fitting rooms are over there if you'd like to try anything on.
Thank you. Are any of these dresses on sale?
Yes, we have a sale on selected items. The dresses with red tags are 20% off.
That's wonderful. I'll check them out. Also, do you offer any additional discounts?
We do. If you sign up for our store membership, you can get an extra 10% off on your first purchase.
That sounds great. I'll take this dress to the fitting room and see how it fits.
Let me know if you need any different sizes or styles. Enjoy your shopping.
Thank you.
Great job, Maria. Now let's move to our final scenario, online shopping. I'll be the shopper, and Maria will be the customer service representative.
Scenario 3. Online shopping.
Hi, I need some help with my online order. How do I add items to my cart?
Hello. To add items to your cart, simply click on the Add to Cart button next to the item you want to purchase.
Got it. How do I proceed to checkout once I've added everything to my cart?
Once you've added all your items, click on the cart icon at the top right corner of the page, then click on Proceed to Checkout.
Thanks. What payment methods do you accept?
We accept all major credit cards, PayPal, and bank transfers.
Perfect. Can you tell me about the delivery options?
Sure. We offer standard delivery, which takes 3-5 business days, and express delivery, which takes 1-2 business days. You can choose your preferred option during the checkout process.
That's helpful. I'll go ahead and complete my purchase. Thanks for your assistance.
You're welcome. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact us. Have a great day.
All right. That wraps up our role-playing scenarios. We hope these examples help you feel more confident using shopping vocabulary in real-life situations.
Yes, and remember, practice makes perfect. Try using these terms next time you go shopping, whether it's in a store or online.
Stay tuned for our next segment, where we'll discuss common mistakes and tips for improving your shopping vocabulary.
Segment 3. Common mistakes and tips.
Welcome back to the English Hustle podcast. In this segment, Maria and I will discuss some common mistakes people make with shopping-related vocabulary and share tips on how to avoid them. We'll also provide some recommendations for resources to help you improve your vocabulary. Let's get started with some common mistakes.
One common mistake is confusing price and cost. Price refers to the amount of money required to purchase something, while cost can refer to the amount of money spent or required for something. For example, the price of the book is $15, but you might say, the cost of my grocery shopping this week was $50.
Another mistake is using basket and cart interchangeably. A basket is usually a small container you carry by hand, while a cart is a larger wheeled container you push. For instance, I used a basket to carry the few items I needed versus I filled my cart with groceries for the week.
Many people also mix up receipt and recipe. A receipt is proof of purchase, whereas a recipe is a set of instructions for preparing a particular dish. For example, make sure you keep your receipt in case you need to return something, versus I found a great recipe for chocolate cake.
And finally, the terms discount and sale are often confused. A discount is a reduction in price, usually a percentage off, like 20% discount. A sale is an event where items are sold at reduced prices, like the store is having a summer sale.
To improve your shopping vocabulary, one effective tip is to make flashcards with the vocabulary words on one side and their definitions and example sentences on the other. Regularly reviewing these can help reinforce your memory.
Another great tip is to practice these words in context. When you go shopping, try to use the new vocabulary. For example, when you're at the checkout, think about the term cashier, or when you're looking for items, consider the aisles.
Watching English language shopping videos or vlogs can also be very helpful. These often use real-world vocabulary and scenarios, which can help you see and hear the words in context.
Additionally, practicing with language exchange partners or joining English conversation groups can be very beneficial. You can often find these groups in your local community or online.
That wraps up our segment on common mistakes and tips. Remember, the key to improving your vocabulary is consistent practice and exposure. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're a natural part of the learning process.
Exactly. Keep practicing, and you'll see improvement over time. Stay tuned for our next segment where we'll answer listener questions related to shopping vocabulary.
Segment 4. Questions and answers session.
Welcome back to the English Hustle podcast. In this segment, Maria and I will answer some pre-submitted questions from our listeners related to shopping vocabulary. Let's dive right in. Our first question comes from James in New York. He asks, what's the difference between refund and exchange? Maria, would you like to take this one?
Sure, Alex. A refund is when you return an item to the store and get your money back. For example, I returned the shoes and received a full refund. An exchange is when you return an item to the store and get a different item in its place. For example, I exchanged the shirt for a larger size.
Great explanation, Maria. Our next question is from Anna in London. She asks, how do I politely ask for a discount?
That's a good question, Anna. You can politely ask for a discount by saying, "Excuse me, do you offer any discounts?" Or, "Is there any way I could get a discount on this item?" being polite and respectful increases your chances of getting a positive response.
Here's a question from Marco in Sydney. He asks, what does BOGO mean?
Excellent question, Marco. BOGO stands for buy one, get one. It's a type of promotion where you buy one item and get another one for free or at a reduced price. For example, the store is having a BOGO sale on all shoes this weekend.
Next up, we have a question from Sophia in Toronto. She asks, what's the difference between clearance and sale?
Good question, Sophia. A sale is a temporary reduction in the price of items, often for a limited time or special event. For example, the store is having a weekend sale. A clearance is when the store wants to sell off old or surplus stock, usually at very low prices to make room for new items. For example, I got this jacket at the end of season clearance sale.
Our final question comes from Rahul in Mumbai. He asks, how do I know when to use customer and client?
Great question, Rahul. A customer is someone who buys goods or services, typically in a retail setting. For example, the customer bought a new laptop. A client is someone who receives professional services, usually in a business context. For example, the lawyer met with her client to discuss the case.
Thank you to everyone who submitted questions. We love hearing from our listeners.
Yes, we always look forward to your questions and feedback. Your questions help us create content that is most useful for you.
Stay tuned for our next segment, where we'll have a fun vocabulary quiz. See you soon.
Segment 5. Fun activity.
Welcome back to the English Hustle podcast. Now it's time for a fun activity to wrap up our episode. We're going to have a quick vocabulary quiz where Maria and I will ask each other questions to test the shopping vocabulary we've discussed today. And we encourage all our listeners to participate and test their own knowledge along with us. Ready, Maria?
Absolutely, Alex. Let's see how well we've been paying attention. I'll start with the first question.
Vocabulary quiz. Question 1.
Alex, what do you call the printed document that lists the items you've purchased and the amount you paid?
That would be a receipt.
Correct. Your turn, Alex.
Maria, what term do we use for a large container with wheels that you push around in a supermarket?
That's a cart.
Correct. All right. Your turn again.
Okay, Alex. What is the term for a reduction in the original price of an item?
That's a discount.
Exactly. Now, over to you.
Maria, what do you call the section of a store where you pay for your items?
That's the checkout.
That's right. Great job. Let's keep going.
That's right. Great job. Let's keep going. Alex, what word refers to the special offers where you get 2 items for the price of 1?
That's BOGO, which stands for buy one, get one.
Correct. Your turn.
Maria, what's the term for the event where items are sold at reduced prices to clear out old stock?
That's a clearance.
Exactly. Let's do a couple more. Maria, what do we call a small container you carry by hand to hold your shopping items?
That's a basket.
Perfect. Well done, Maria. How did you all do at home? We hope you enjoyed this little quiz and that it helped reinforce some of the vocabulary we've discussed today.
Yes, and remember, practicing these terms in real-life situations will help you become more comfortable and confident. If you have any other words you'd like us to cover or questions about today's episode, feel free to reach out.
Stay tuned for our conclusion, where we'll recap the main points and give you a sneak peek of our next episode. See you in a moment.
Conclusion.
Welcome back to the English Hustle Podcast. As we wrap up today's episode on simple shopping vocabulary, let's quickly recap what we've discussed. We started by introducing key shopping-related terms such as store, aisle, cashier, receipt, discount, sale, checkout, price, cart, and basket. We then moved on to role-playing scenarios to see how these terms are used in real-life situations, whether you're shopping for groceries, clothes, or even online. After that, we covered common mistakes people make with shopping vocabulary and shared tips for improvement, along with some useful resources. Finally, we answered your questions about shopping vocabulary in our Q&A session.
Thank you, Alex. It was great to be here and help our listeners improve their shopping vocabulary.
And of course, a huge thank you to all our listeners for tuning in. We appreciate your support and hope you found this episode helpful and engaging. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the English Hustle Podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, feel free to reach out.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you. Stay connected with us and keep practicing your English.
Thanks for listening and see you next time on the English Hustle Podcast.